Hey there everybody, and welcome to another one of my videos slash streams. I know that it's been quite some time since I've last made a video, like more than a week I think. I'm sorry for that, but I've been a bit busy with releasing Egg Yolk, which is the announcement that I'm making in this video, and also having some personal stuff to deal with, like starting a new job and stuff like that. Yeah. So basically, Egg Yolk is, let me just get into the subject. Egg Yolk is a very simple egg catcher game that I've made. Not that egg catcher games could be really complex or as such. This is inspired from a childhood handheld, I think, Russian game that I used to play. Um, Me being a Romanian, we actually had access to consoles from the Russian space and I think Turkish space as well, and so it's inspired by that. It does have some twists to the gameplay, and it's obviously different graphically. As you can see, it's about a kangaroo catching. What are these? These are I forgot what their names are. Catching eggs. What's their name? I completely forgot. Let me just go ahead and show you guys what exactly the game is about. So basically there's a counter to playing daily. So if you play the game daily, you get a bonus to the amount of lives that you start off for the rest of the whole day. And you can go from 3 lives to a maximum of 7 lives. So if you play this game for at least uh, not at least for like 4 days in a row, then you'll be able to start each game with 7 lives off, which is basically going to give you a better chance at reaching a higher score, I would say. We'll see. If that's not the case, then we'll see in time. So let's go ahead and continue, which starts the game right off. This is going to be a bit harder to play because I actually have to click the button. So there we go. You have eggs coming in. You've got these eggs, which are different colors. You can go to the tips menu and you'll be able to see what all the different types of eggs do. Alternatively, if you wouldn't like to do that, you can just play it by yourself and see what that does, what each one of them does. And yeah, that's basically it. There's not much more to it other than this, and of course a increasing difficulty, which comes both with playing the game longer for longer periods of time and increasing the multiplier that you have up here in the top left corner. And yeah, so there we go. Some eggs are actually bad for you. Those two particularly decrease your multiplier, your high points multiplier. This is the super mode, which is very good to get always. It doesn't matter if the eggs fall and you lose them, you're basically invincible. And you're trying to get as many of them as possible. Target the ones that give you more points, for example. And yeah, that's basically the whole game. Oh, there's also a time warp or a slowdown matrix game, sort of, kind of. There we go. I'm starting to lose lives now. Oh. Okay, let's not lose right off the bat. Anyway, that's the game. Let's go ahead and do lose. So if I click the view ad button, it's going to show me a Unity ad, because that's how I'm monetizing the game. The game is free to play, everybody can download it. I'm not going to do that right now because I think I don't have it on developer mode, and I wouldn't want to get in trouble with them or anything, so I'll just go ahead and stop playing it. Once you I don't know why this error keeps popping up. It doesn't seem to affect the game though. Anyway, once you click the view ad, you get 3 more lives to start off, and you can continue the game from where you left off, and have a chance at making even more points and getting a newer, higher score. Right, so what's up next? At this moment, the game is in open beta. There we go, a beta over here. so you guys can download it. You can't yet rate it, but I am going to release it to production just as soon as I get some feedback from you guys. And what's next for the game? I was thinking about implementing leaderboards, which should be doable with there's this package that you can get on from GitHub, which is Play Games plugin for Unity, and this is specifically for Android. I don't have it out um, on iOS. It might come out on iOS. I don't know. If you guys like it and if you think that it's got potential, then I'll probably do that as well. It shouldn't be that hard for me to get it out on iOS as well. It is quite child friendly, as you guys can see. There's no violence, there's no adult or mature themes or such. So yeah, it shouldn't be that big of a problem to get it out on iOS as well. When it comes to the code, I can show you guys a bit around. Now, the trouble is that I'm not a particularly I'm not particularly good at Unity. I'm still learning, and how I've made this game was by using a bunch of canvases and objects situated, UI objects situated inside of them. It's not that well animated either, so I didn't have to go the way of 3D bodies and sprites and stuff like that. So it's just a bunch of images and buttons and text, and yeah, it seems to be working quite fine right now. But future games, and I am planning on developing future games, are going to be developed within inside the main camera, which is not with canvas objects. So I'll try to stick with only UI for the canvas. Those of you who know Unity and know what I'm talking about can understand what I'm saying. And those of you who don't, you might as well learn if you'd like. It's not that hard. It's really easy to make easy and fast, simple and fast games with Unity, if you ask me. So yeah, and I also have a new project on my hands. I haven't started recording it yet because I'm not at that point yet, but it will soon happen. But yeah, by the way, before I do that, let's just go ahead and maybe get some feedback in for me and on this one, and I'll see what I can improve. So what this game still doesn't have is the ability to share your score to the Play Store, which shouldn't be that big of a problem. I've already implemented the Play Services resolver in here, and I should be able to do a setup over here and have a very small, not very small, but a relatively small script that would allow me to post the high scores to the Play Store, and I might actually do that in a future update. If you guys would like that, then just please go ahead and say that. Say so in the comments, or you can email me as well. Other than that, I am also planning or would like to have implemented a means of sharing the game on social media. And to do it on Android again seems to be quite easy. Basically what I have to do would just imply making a screenshot, which isn't that complicated, and then opening the Share To menu, which most Android operating systems has enabled, and that would be it, more or less. And then when it comes to the code, I can show you guys around. Basically it's not very clean because it is one of my first projects that I've been working on with Unity. I did work on another project in the past, which is also on hold. I'm not giving up on it. I'm talking about the Eridanic Wars, which was or is rather a collectible card game, but it turned out that it was much more complicated to make a collectible card game than I anticipated. So I just I shelved it for a while until I can get some more resources, and obviously time and money. And by resources I mean human resources, people that can help me with animations, with special effects and stuff like that. But anyway, so this is basically GameScript runs everything from the high scores to the lives to the, I don't know, texts on the screen, the dates needed for me to give you that juicy bonus for having, you know, what's it called, for having played more days in a row and getting more lives when you start off. And what else? It's got a quite big start function that I call from time to time. I've switched to fixed update because the game isn't, you know, it's not a shooter or a racing car game, so 60 updates per second, and by that I mean not just FPS but also UPS updates, you know, like game logic updates should be more than enough, and I would say that it is. And there's a pause mode. Obviously you can, when you click the menu, the whole game freezes, it pauses. What else do we have? You know, when you catch the egg, you have to have a function for that, and you have to know which ramp it came from, because that is needed so that you don't just catch every egg from every position, regardless of how you place your kangaroo. So you know that had to be properly done. What else now? So that's catching the eggs. There's a difficulty adjuster, which I mean, if you'd like to know how to game the game, so to say, you could just as well take a screenshot now and figure it out. But basically, every minute that passes, the game increases its egg spawn rate and the gravity scale for the eggs, which means that they spawn faster, so more eggs per minute. Plus, they roll down the ramps also faster. So you know that's something. I think I played it on my phone. Like the latest version, I think I played it for like, I don't know, 5-6 minutes in a row, and it was really fast at the end. There was basically no chance for me to catch all of them. So yeah, there's that. Also, there are different difficulties based on the multipliers. So if you've got like every 5 multiplier, uh, every so the multiplier goes from 1 to 20 at this point. I might unlock it later on if the game gets you know, reviews, or you know, people want that to happen. But the multiplier just goes from 1 to 20. You get multiplier by collecting multiple eggs one after the other, or by getting the multiplier plus X amount eggs, so the special eggs. And then you lose multiplier points by having eggs break down, you know, like not catching them, besides lives, so that's a bit of a bummer. And also every 5 multiplier levels, the difficulty increases, right? So once you get to multiplier 20, the egg spawn rate and the gravity scale is more than double the initial speed. So yeah, it's like 130 for starting off, and then it's 40 and 70. So it's more than double both the speed and the spawn rate. And that's not taking into consideration the amount of minutes that you've played the game, right? So there's that. There's handlers for changing that. There's handlers for resetting the egg gravity, resetting the egg count on the screen. Showing an ad. I hope there's no information right there. No, there's not. Right, okay. Then there's the egg spawning random function, which is actually not as good as it should be. If you guys know a bit of programming, you probably might end up understanding what this all does. This was the quickest and I don't know, easiest solution to spawning random eggs on the screen without making it seem like some eggs spawn like some special eggs spawn way too often compared to others. You guys maybe can figure this out on your own. There's also a function for making the floating texts, which you guys can see. Let me show you guys what I'm talking about. There's there's like floating text over here and over to the multiplier, which shows you what's happening in the game at the moment, at the time. There we go, 5 points. So the normal eggs are just 1 point, but there are then special eggs which give you 5 points. There's the multiplier for catching, I don't know, I think 5 eggs in a row at first, something along those lines. The bigger of a multiplier you have, the harder it gets to naturally increase your multiplier, unless you get one of those special eggs. Yeah, and that's probably enough. Right. What else? Updating the volume with the audio listener, which I have only one of, and then toggling the daily reward on and off. And then we have multiple scripts designed to help with managing. Oh, this is actually, I should clear this off. This isn't relevant anymore. So we've got multiple scripts which help me manage the lives, for example, and the catcher script, which he has to move from one position to another, play some animations. The text with all of the cases for them, and then the coop script, which also plays animations. There are at the moment 4 animations for the ostriches. That's what I was looking for in the beginning. Then there's the egg script, which also details the types of eggs and switch cases for creating them. Multiplier, which also does help with creating the multiplier. Catcher help script. I think this is used because of the on trigger enter 2D collision, and I need this in order to establish whether or not an egg has collided with the catcher or not, right? So that's also needed. Then there's the floor script, which also checks if this is where the floor is right here. So it's right underneath his legs, just in case you're wondering. So once an egg gets to this point on the screen, it has to break and stop moving. What else? We have the high score scripts, ramp sound, which is these triggers over here, so that the eggs make a bit of a sound when they get near to falling off the ramps. I think this should have been moved a bit better around, and I think that I will do just that. And then there's the move buttons, which are these for the 2 on the left and the other 2 on the right side. Game switch button, what is this? This just changes the game to either a new game or continue on the current game. And then there's the daily reward script, which helps me establish. So let's see now. So at this point there are 0 days consecutive, because I actually haven't played this game at all yesterday. But this should be working, and tomorrow it should show 1 consecutive days played 1, and then bonus lives 1, stuff like that. And I think, is there anything more? No, I think these are all of the scripts. So as I've said, a relatively simple game. Yeah, not that many. And yeah, that should be it for today. So this was my big announcement. Hopefully you guys will like this game, and if not, please leave me some feedback. I will probably be moving to release it in about a week or so, like the full release, because at the moment, as I've said, it's currently in open beta. Anybody can test it, so don't ask me for keys or anything. Just go on the App Store and look for Eggyoke. That's the name. And yeah, thanks to everybody for watching and listening. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video as well. If you guys would like me to go a bit more into detail with how the game was made and such, I could do that, but just like I've mentioned, this is a simple 2D egg catcher game, so there's not that much to learn from it, other than maybe the animations and the triggers and simple stuff like that. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you guys next time. And subscribe for more, download the game and test it if you'd like, and thank you yet again for watching. Goodbye.